in one of those monumental days in the Supreme Court that has obviously caused a huge debate across the length and breadth of our country. Viewers, India has become a nation where those wearing a saffron scarf to school are equated by leftists in this country to Nazis wearing a swastika or a Haken Kreuz. But wearing a hijab is considered a symbol of dignity, privacy, and freedom of expression. Indeed, no less than the Supreme Court Justice Dhulia today upheld what he termed is the secular right of a girl student to wear a hijab in a classroom. His verdict, viewers, his verdict in effect deals a body blow to the sanctity of the uniform. In fact, Justice Dhulia's divergent opinion split the Supreme Court bench down the middle as Justice Gupta, his brother judge, totally differed with him. Remember, viewers, it was a two-judge bench. The SC bench was hearing a series of petitions filed by those opposed to a Karnataka government order barring hijab from the classroom. The divergent views of the two judges mean that a three-judge bench of the Supreme Court will now, in all probability, decide on the issue. Viewers, here's how Justice Dhulia has justified his support for hijab. Let me talk you through it. On the question of whether the hijab is an essential practice, wearing of hijab is an essential practice, he says under our constitution, wearing a hijab should be simply a matter of choice. This is Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia's view. Question of essential religious practices is not at all relevant in this dispute. He says on this issue, it may not be essential, but simply a religious practice, matter of faith or conscience. So note, viewers, he has given priority to a matter of faith. Just keep that in mind. On the question of, once again, this hijab, he says the fallout of hijab restriction would be that we would deny education to a girl child. In this context, he says, are we making the life of a girl better by denying her education because of her hijab? This is a rhetorical question that he poses. If the belief harms no one else, there can be no justifiable reason for banning the hijab. Now, viewers, he goes on to write, and this is important, order in Bijo Emmanuel case is the guiding star which will show us the path laid down. Path of understanding and tolerance, also called as reasonable accommodation. Discipline can't be at the cost of freedom, not at the cost of dignity. What's more important, education of a girl or enforcement of a dress code? So what he says. He says it's essential that a girl student retains her fundamental rights of dignity and privacy even in school and class. Democracy is based on trust. Trust minorities have reposed upon the majority. Aim to foster sensitivity, empathy, and understanding towards different religions. He then goes on to say, state's order, which is the Karnataka state government's order, goes against fraternity and human dignity, liberty, equality, fraternity. Now, viewers, let's just consider the last, because there are a large number of questions that arise. When you talk about equality, why should only women be wearing the hijab and be subjected to dictums of decency and dignity? And what if there are some women who decide against wearing the hijab? Will they be undignified? These are questions, viewers, that come up. If you're leaving it to choice, then that's one big question. Then, viewers, Going by Justice Dhulia's logic, one could ask, is it now no longer mandatory to follow any prescribed uniform laid down or set down by an institution? And let's see how the choice argument could translate on the ground. Now, viewers, on the field, for example, members of India's cricket team or other sports may choose not to obey the dress code. Lawyers in court may choose to shed their black and white uniform and appear in casual attire, maybe even in ripped jeans, for example, or a singlet. Viewers, in hospitals, uniforms will be abjectly dispensed with. Why should you have a nurse or any orderly in uniform? They can dress like John Travolta. N number of combinations, viewers. Just think about it. Think about air hostesses who are obliged by their companies, air stewards, etc. Everyone will come in mufti. Viewers, think about this. I'm not being facetious here. Let's just think about it. Think about our forces. Policemen may remove their uniform and serve in plain clothes all along. Can the armed forces be imagined as an institution without a uniform? And can you ever think of your armed forces? What about madrasas? Can someone choose to wear a skirt to a madrasa or visit an Orthodox church without covering shoulders in sleeveless dresses? Viewers, there will be complete disregard for decorum at one level. Uniformity, the uniform, remember, it also signifies many virtues. Is choice absolute? No, viewers, choice is also not absolute. Let me tell you that, whether we like it or not. There is also another point, viewers. What if tomorrow someone decided to exercise their right and wear saffron shawls to class? Will those students be described as communal? Will those who equated them as saffron supremacists and Nazis object? And let me tell you who these people are. So, D.K. Shivakumar of the Congress Karnataka state chief, he said saffron shawls distributed overnight to students don't sow communal hatred seeds among students. Why do students need caste and religion now? We have to give education to students, not scarves. Because there will be people who will start wearing tilaks, all sorts of visible symbols of their identity. There are some viewers in India who even shun their clothes. You may have someone show up in school without clothes. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra herself said, even bikinis should be allowed. Tomorrow somebody might show up in a bikini. Or a VIP Frenchie. It can happen, viewers. Think about it. All sorts of bizarre practices. Dinesh Gundurao once said, saffron shawl is not a fundamental tenet of Hinduism. But hijab in Islam and turban in Sikhism are articles of faith. Saffron scarves equals swastika armbands. Karti Chidambaram, Congress MP. So someone is allowed because it is an article of their faith to wear a hijab. But if I were to tomorrow wear a saffron scarf, I would be called a swastika armband wearing, well, not viewers. How does this apply? Justice Dhulia's brother Justice, Mr. Gupta, perhaps foresaw some of the contradictions. Here's how Justice Gupta debunked the choice argument. Viewers, let's pull them up. This is what Justice Gupta feels. State has jurisdiction to enforce uniform as per College Development Committee. He went on to say equality before law is to treat all citizens equally, irrespective of caste, creed, sex. Such equality cannot be breached by the state on the basis of religious faith. Constitution allows state to regulate economic, political, financial aspects of religion, cites full bench of the Punjab and Haryana High Court in Gurleen Kaur versus State of Punjab. Unshorn hair is one of the most important and fundamental tenets of Sikh religion. Rights are subjectable, reasonable restrictions and have to be read in conjunction with each other. As per executive powers, Karnataka government order is not an unreasonable restriction. Religion is a private affair and has no affair in a secular school run by the state. Argument of hijab adding dignity not pertinent to students attending an all-girls college. That is the objective behind a uniform, so as to bring about uniformity in appearances. It doesn't amount to denial of right to education if a student chooses not to attend the school. Essential religious practice not relevant to institute maintained wholly by state funds, open to students to carry their faith in a school which permits them to wear hijab. Students have no right to be in school in violation of uniform mandated by rules. Viewers, this is what Justice Gupta has said, and perhaps he's on the right path here. I don't know. It does appear to me. Now I want to open this up, and I asked you, remember, to keep viewers something in mind. You see, viewers, it's very, very ironic that when the Ayodhya judgment was passed, and I think Ishkaran Bhandari is here right before us, and I want to bring him in on this. Ishkaran Bhandari, when the Ayodhya judgment was passed by a 5-judge bench, you remember what certain individuals said, top politicians in this country. They said that this is a case where the judges have put faith over facts. And this is a desecration of secularism, of every known fundamental of our constitution. Now, Ishkaran Bhandari, you have a situation where a Supreme Court justice pretty much does the same, and he is being lauded. I mean, I don't understand. Do certain faiths have greater rights in this country? What's going on? Ishkaran Bhandari, can you explain this?
Rahul, it has been amusing to see how in a split judgment, one judge by the entire ecosystem is praised in the highest manner, and the other judge who remarks coming which is very unfortunate. So that we have, but the bigger question, if essential religious practice test is wrong, and then reason by which a school...
Okay, we're having a few problems with Ishkaran Bhandari's line. I think you're connected through Skype. We're having a few problems. Some of the words are dropping out, Ishkaran. I'll just come back to you. Let me go straight across to Dr. Anand Ranganathan also, who's there with us. Dr. Ranganathan, how do you view this? Because I'm quite confused. I don't know whether I should even, you know, I mean, I have a child at home. Tomorrow she'll say, Dad, I want to wear, jeans to school. Now, what am I supposed to say? And she'll say, Bhai, Justice Dhulia has said that you can. What's the big deal? You exercise your choice. Now, what am I going to do?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. First of all, may I please gently rebuke you? Because your opening primer, especially tonight, has been so brilliant and so full of logical arguments, you've essentially killed your own debate. So, आपका agenda क्या है? ये debate का धंधा बंद करवाना है आपको? But anyway, you know, there are two issues here, Rahul, and both merit delving into briefly. Number one, the reasons given by Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, one of the Supreme Court judges hearing the hijab case, for lifting the school hijab ban, I'm afraid are so utterly bizarre and illogical. They would be untenable in any other court of law, in any other country, on any other planet. A, the honorable judge says that banning hijab betrays the trust the minority has reposed on the majority. This is virtue signaling gone berserk. What is the faith the minority reposed on majority? That you will not have a school uniform? Or that you will not have a high court dictate to us what we should wear to school? And by the way, what happened to the faith a minority reposed on the majority 30 years ago in Kashmir? You don't talk about that betrayal of trust because there the minority was Hindu and majority Muslim. And the same Supreme Court said cases of Kashmiri Hindu genocide, murder and rape are too old to be reopened. B, the judge says ban on hijab is an invasion of privacy. How bizarre. Is it a school pupil's right to wear anything and come to school? Is the state invading someone's privacy when the face or bodily features need to be checked for security reasons. By the way, Kerala government has banned wearing of hijab over SPC uniform. And Kerala Muslim Education Society, controlling 150 schools and madrasas, has banned niqab. So are communists and Muslims Hindutva Sanghis now? See, the judge says discipline is necessary but cannot be at the cost of freedom. This, I'm afraid, is Rahul Gandhi Jupiter velocity level of argument. What else is discipline at the cost of, if not freedom? Discipline by definition means curbing some freedom. Can a Jain student demand he come naked to school? Can NDA cadets say they will attend classes now in pajamas and nighties? Honestly, if this judge was in a Shark Tank episode, he'll be asked, "Bhai, tu kar kya raha hai?" Anyway, you know what the irony is, Rahul? That I myself from day one, and you know this, have believed that the hijab ban is untenable, but obviously for the following two logical reasons. Very briefly, number one, it is untenable because the phrase, in my opinion, essentiality in religion is nonsensical. What is and what isn't essential is subjective and either at the discretion of the believer or it has been explicitly defined by Allah himself. Allah's word is inviolable. And he himself has said so, 3362, 6115, 1827, 634. There is no ambiguity. Allah has explicitly ordered how one should dress, 2431, 3359. Ya ayuya al-nabiyu kul liyaz wajika waba natika wanisa al-muminina. No court can say Allah's commandment is not essential. And two, the hijab ban is selective. There should be one rule and no duplicity in implementing it. So a school can ban hijab because it has a specific rule of a uniform. But it cannot at the same time allow unconcealed janehu, kada, cross, circumcised organ or a turban. If a school allows for dress codes or identities of other religions, it has to allow for Islam, no duplicity. Finally, 10 seconds, Rahul. I hope Himant Dhulia isn't related to Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia. But I can very well hear him saying on a lighter note, हिंदुस्तान में जब तक सुप्रीम कोर्ट है ये साला लोग बनते रहेंगे.
Well, look, I'll tell you something. Viewers, let me bring in Mr. Poonawala here. Let me bring in the JDS spokesperson, Tanveer Bhai. Tanveer Bhai, I just want to first get this hypocrisy argument out of the way. How is it that when the Supreme Court of India, a 5-judge bench, unanimously rules in the Ayodhya matter, all of you find it appalling, and you say, I remember some of your political party leaders, as well as the AIMM, for example, who some people say the JDS has some informal arrangements with from time to time. I'm not privy to those, but I'm told. All of them came out and said, oh, here, complete racketeering is going on because faith has been put above facts, etc., etc. This is what you said. I mean, Mr. Owaisi's comments are there for all to see. And now when Justice Dhulia does the same, you say, wah, wah, this is a victory for fraternity, for secularism, for all kind of rights. So first you please explain to me, Tanveer Bhai, are the rights of certain faiths greater than the rights of another faith? Or are only Hindus to be chastised for having faith in something?
Firstly, actually nobody is greater and nobody is smaller in this country. Everybody is the citizen of the same country and everybody has common rights. And the way the system is absolutely rattled today, and I see a couple of them are really voicing out, especially when I see the statement of Mr. B.C. Nagesh and others coming in, and also my good friend Mr. Anand Ranganathan echoing the same sentiments today. It really shows that we are losing confidence in the judiciary system also. There is one set of people who, when they have been really pushed to corner, saying that, you can't do this, you can't really wear this, and this is what when we come to power, we are going to impose. They go to the best temple in this world, which is the Honorable Court, and Honorable Court really basis of the Constitution which is really derived, courts Article 25, Article 19, and courts the system which is really defined in this country. And today all these people get rattled. Rattled, they start really quoting Quran, they start quoting Hadith, they start quoting, Arey, come on.
Even Owaisi Saab, one second, Mr. Ahmed, even Owaisi Saab, to my colleague in an interview, has underwritten that in the Quran, and I think he even cited some of the clauses, etc., verses, what have you, saying that, look, the hijab is very much part of the essential repertoire of Islam, so let's not try to overlook this. Now, I just want to ask you, no, one second, sir, please, just give me 30 seconds. Mr. Ahmed, I want to come back to you. If no one is unequal or all are equal, then why did Mr. Ahmed, you, your party, others berate the Supreme Court with the taunt that it put faith over facts in the Ayodhya matter? And today, when it's doing the same, at least one justice is doing the same, you're very happy. So obviously, your rights are greater than Hindu rights.
My rights are not greater than yours. And
no, then why did you do that?
So why did you do that? Same country.
So why did you do that?
Your right is not greater than mine.
Then are you going to today say to me that? Are you going to then today say to me that you were wrong when you accused the Supreme Court in the Ayodhya judgment of saying that they put faith over facts? Will you admit that you were wrong?
Justice is greater than you, and justice.
Sir,
is
I'm asking you.
Me.
I'm asking you. Don't beat around the bush. Then tell me that you condemn yourselves and a large number of your friends, political friends, who said that in the Ayodhya matter the Supreme Court put faith over facts. You condemn Owaisi right now. You say he was absolutely wrong.
Owaisi is an hypocrite. He would
you say he's wrong.
Go to a place.
You say he's wrong.
I'm telling you.
You say he's wrong. You say that the judges got it right in Ayodhya. You say that the judges got it right in Ayodhya.
No.
See, they won't say it, viewers. Justice Dhulia gets it right for putting faith over facts, but the 5 justices of the Supreme Court who ruled on Ayodhya got it wrong. Now you tell me,
I would never say any justice was wrong by giving any justice.
Mr. Ahmed, there is a problem here. You have to start by choosing, choosing to accept all Supreme Court verdicts and saying all Supreme Court verdicts are okay. No problems with them. Especially when it comes to matters, quote unquote, of faith. You can't be selective. नहीं वो ठीक था, ये गलत थे, वो bias थे, ये ठीक है. ऐसा थोड़ी चलता है. Ishkaran Bhandari, I believe you are back with us. How do you respond today to Tanveer Ahmed, who says, every faith is equal, no one is unequal, but I will not condemn. I will not condemn this line that faith over facts was placed by the Ayodhya bench when it came out and ruled in favor of the Hindus.
Rahul, it's a very serious debate, but let me start on a lighter side. I think Mr. Ahmed should not celebrate prematurely. All that the split verdict means is the Karnataka High Court order stays, and tomorrow a larger bench could again uphold the order. So all this celebration of all this condemnation of a judgment is not the best way to go forward. But anyways, let us deal with what the judgment stands and why the Karnataka judgment and Justice Gupta's judgment, in my view, is a better view. The reason is once you remove the essential religious practice, then to say a school cannot prescribe uniform will be against the very basic fact of what is a uniform. The one test in which was argued in Karnataka High Court was it's an essential religious practice, and if you prescribe a uniform, it will somehow affect how we practice the religion. Once that test is removed from it, the very definition of a uniform is everybody has to come similarly dressed. I ask a question. Today we are saying hijab is dignity. What if certain women come and say, no, hijab is not sufficient dignity. We need to wear a burqa for us to have complete dignity. Then this argument, of course, will apply to wearing a complete burqa also. And then why stop there? Then the argument of dignity will not be restricted only to a school. It will be restricted to armed forces. It will be restricted to all public spaces. Yes. So when we start going into, instead of the only exception we make to uniforms and to rule used to be essential religious practice. So that is why this very slippery slope to go on. What is sufficient dignity? And secondly, it emboldens the statement of that Samajwadi MP where he says the onus is on the woman. Where he says if you do not dress in an appropriate manner, so Samaj mein behudgi ya some Urdu word he used, basically besharmi phailegi. So then you are squarely, because of this judgment, putting the onus on a young girl, child, that if you do not wear this, those could be the consequences. And last thing I would say, please see how intelligently it happens on ground. In court, you say it is only a matter of choice, not essential religious practice. On your channel, OVC, and on many places, all these people will say it is an essential practice. A girl must wear it. So you get a judgment from court on consent, and then you force it by saying it's mandatory because it's mandated by religion. I hope we don't throw women into this dark hell.
Now, I'll add to this. I, in fact, and Dr. Ranganathan, I want you to pay attention to this. It's important. I actually have a quibble with the Supreme Court on this matter. If you are not going to look at the entire issue of ERP, or essential religious practice, when it comes to Islamic tenets, then why do you do so on the Hindu side? And viewers, there are plenty of examples. The Supreme Court is not chary about coming out and interpreting Hindu customs, etc. Now let me tell you, viewers, Hindu intervention on the religious side, Sabrimala, takeover of Ayodhya Mandapam in Tamil Nadu, title suit, of course, of the Ram Janam Bhoomi, Place of Worship Act challenge, challenging HRCE Act, which enabled temple takeovers. All of this and other personal marriage laws, etc., were also modified very conveniently by the Supreme Court. But here suddenly it is warned off doing so when it comes to one particular faith and backs off. Now, I can't understand why, Dr. Ranganathan, this distinction is being drawn.
No, absolutely. And we don't have Jay Sai here because let me go back to Sabrimala judgment, where the Supreme Court went against and allowed all women menstruating as well to visit Sabrimala, while at the same time being quiet about how the fact that some Muslim women cannot go enter the sanctum sanctorum of a mosque, where you have Catholic women that cannot be ordained as priests. So it is very clear when it comes to Hinduism, they want reforms, even though it is perceived discrimination, as was the case in Sabrimala. But when it comes to other religion, it covers behind a lamppost like a wet cat. That is clear. But if I can, just 30 seconds, Tanveer Bhai, I really respect him. I love him as a brother. And he is one of those I admire. He's gone to Everest Base Camp without an oxygen. But I'm afraid he took my name today. He's talking as if he's short of breath. I mean, this is only hypoxia-induced irrationality. Because I asked my good brother Tanveer Bhai 2 questions. Number one, and I quoted 8 facts. I know it because I prepared for the debate, and 2 verses of Quran. None of them Tanveer Bhai could dispute or rebut. 2 of the facts that I stated, I want him specifically to rebut. Number one, will he be all right if tomorrow a Jain student demands that he can go to school naked? Will he be all right? Yes or no? And number 2, is it all right when the honorable judge says that discipline is necessary, but not at the cost of freedom? So I ask him, what else is discipline if not at the cost of freedom?
Tanveer Bhai.
Anand, actually, I come again, please. I didn't really hear him. Come again with this question,
sometimes can be a problem. That sometimes can be a problem.
No, absolutely no.
That sometimes can be a problem.
There was an issue.
No, okay, it's okay.
I can hear you. Come again.
Okay, Tanveer Bhai, it's okay. Look, it's okay. We'll pick this up. Yes, Mariam ji, aapki bhi awaaz aa rahi hai. I'll be coming to you. Yes, I'm now bringing in Tehseen Poonawalla. He's waited patiently. Asif Suhail is also there. Tehseen, just give me 30 seconds. I want to bring in Asif Suhail because he's a sympathizer of the AIMM, and Mr. Owaisi spoke to Times Now a little while back, and he said, look, it's all in our book, etc. So why are you grumbling about these things? Asif Suhail, I want to ask you a simple question. Owaisi Saab said, in the context of the Ayodhya judgment, that the bench was absolutely wrong, because it put faith over facts. It murdered jurisprudence. Now here, he's welcoming. And he said very clearly, हम तो सिर्फ Justice धूलिया की बात करेंगे. क्योंकि Justice Dhulia is secular, even though he has given primacy to faith. But Justice Gupta, according to another leader of your party, is a hardliner Hindutva. Ab sir, which judgment do you get to choose? Suhail bhai, why do you deny Hindus when it comes to a question of faith, their faith? Why do you deny them and accept when it comes to your faith? Is the Hindu faith not important? Are their interests not important, not worthy of securing? Simple question, sir.
देखिए राहुल, पहली चीज तो आपको मैं बता दूं, फर्स्टली अयोध्या का जजमेंट फेथ के ऊपर और आस्था पे नहीं दिया गया. यू नो इट वेरी वेल.
तो आपके लीडर ने तो बोला था,
अयोध्या जजमेंट एज गिवन.
आपके लीडर ने तो बोला था सर, आपके लीडर ने तो बोला था. शुड आई नो, वाज ही रॉन्ग?
देखिए,
वाज ही रॉन्ग? Was he wrong?
See, he has never said that his judgment was given on the faith.
No, don't say that.
You know
don't
it.
say
You
that.
read the
I
judgment.
will quote to you. I will quote to you.
देखिए आप.
Sir, ये गलत है. ये आप देखिए, अब आप again now, sir, you are now misleading the viewer.
मैंने तो सुना नहीं है उन्होंने क्या बोला है.
Extremely prepared, sir.
सीने, you don't mislead Rahul.
No, I'm not. Don't accuse me of doing something, sir.
तो आपके पास स्क्रिप्ट होती है सर, प्रिपेयर करी हुई. I speak on the facts.
It's very unfortunate.
Yes, sir. Suhail Sahab, I'm still waiting for you.
देखिए, and now it's about, see, देखिए, what let me finish. देखिए, अभी जो हाई कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया है, ठीक है, इट्स द ब्यूटी ऑफ अवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. आपको एक्सेप्ट करिए, किसी को पसंद नहीं आ रहा. यू आर नॉट लाइकिंग मिस्टर धूलिया's जजमेंट. समवन इज लाइकिंग अदर जज का जजमेंट. ठीक है, इट्स डिपेंड अपॉन यू.
I will now fact check you live on TV. I will fact check your lies on TV right now, and I will not go by any other newspaper but the Hindu, because you think, and all the Lutyens Brigade think, and all the leftists think, all the Islamo-leftists think, it's only the Hindu that counts. So I will read out the Hindu. A victory of faith over facts, said Asaduddin Owaisi. 9th November 2019.
First you correct your word. You cannot say me that I have lied. You need to correct that first. No, please. You cannot use that personal attack. आप बात ही नहीं करिए आप. देखिए, मैं आपको बहुत एहतराम से बात कर रहा हूँ. देखिए, आपकी नाक की स्क्रिप्ट मुझे सुनना ही नहीं है. मुझे आपकी नागपूत की स्क्रिप्ट सुनना ही नहीं है. आप गिविंग योर रेस्पेक्ट ऑन द, यू शुड, एंड यू शुड,
आपको सुनना पड़ेगा.
आप भी वही चीज करना चाहिए. आप कैसा बोलते हो मुझे? आई विल एक्सपोज. यू हैव ए लाइज ऑफ स्क्रिप्ट. डोंट से मी दैट.
Cut. Sorry. You cannot sit here on my show. You can't sit on my show and tell me that I'm misrepresenting facts. I will now expose you. Now, these gentlemen, and they made it a habit, viewers, every other week MIM spokespeople come here or sympathizers come here and I expose them. They just do not know how to speak the truth because they get cornered. Their double standards are so replete. Suhail Saab, please don't interrupt. Now, let me tell you, viewers, and this is what has been said without fail by this leader, Mr. Owaisi. And this is from the MIM. This is from the MIM handle. And here it is, viewers, MIM handle. Let me go to the real source. And Suhail Saab to bhag gaye. This is a victory. This is it. MIM. MIM, viewers, MIM handle. MIM. Owaisi's party. This is a victory of faith over facts, judgment. There are several other mosques in our country over which the Sanghis have laid claim. I wonder if they will cite this judgment in those cases too. Barrister Asaduddin Owaisi. Viewers, here it is. Rahul Shivshankar.
I would like to tell you.
Rahul Shivshankar never puts fake over facts.
Rahul,
He always puts
Rahul,
facts over fake.
Inviting Rahul, you should stop inviting fake political analysts who don't really understand.
So thank you for coming to my rescue. Like he describes himself as an AIMM sympathizer and a party member. So I don't know, sir. Maybe they're all fake. I don't know. But you cannot sit here on this channel and spew, as they say, viewers, fake news. I don't belong to that ecosystem, viewers, where you can take the anchor for granted because you know मेरा ही वो sympathizer है. That doesn't work on Times Now. I will call out all sides. And Tehseen Poonawalla, let me bring that question to you. Now I want to ask you a simple question, Tehseen Poonawalla. Do you think tomorrow, if a young lady decides that she will not wear the hijab to a madrasa, for example, will that be okay? After all, she's exercising her choice. Would you think that that is fine?
Yes, it is absolutely fine. And please don't interrupt me. Not only is it fine, my mother who's a practicing Muslim, and let me just put one thing out for all your viewers to know. Islam is an extremely diverse religion. It's not a homogeneous religion as many a times, unfortunately, in recent times it's been projected to be. So inside the mosque, a woman can wear what she wants, dress how she wants, and nobody has a right to tell her what to do. And I can say this with experience with my mother, who wore, when my father was alive, let me finish please, a Mangal Sutra, a Sindoor, a sleeveless, inside her mosque, and no one dared stare. In fact, in Kashmir, at the mosque in Kashmir, recently when I went with my wife for a holiday, and my wife's a Hindu, she was wearing pants inside a mosque, and nobody said. So first, let's get something clear about Islam, but I want to make a larger point about this debate. So let's, once we got that out.
No, I thought you wanted to go point by point, because if you believe this, if this is the freedom, then why does Justice Dhulia say the following? Fallout of hijab restriction would be that we would deny education to a girl child. If everyone was so tolerant. No, one second. One second. Tehseen bhai, let me now, 1 minute. You made this point that bhai,
to articulate that.
We are a very heterogeneous faith, etc. I'm sure you are, and I'm never going to doubt this.
I'm an atheist.
And you're an atheist.
From a mixed descent.
And you said that your own mother, never really was held back, and that this freedom is allowed inside the sanctum sanctorum, even of mosques, for women to wear whatever they want to. So then I want to ask you, if that is the case, then Justice Dhulia's argument goes out to the window. That means he was kind of fear-mongering, was he? When he says fallout of hijab restriction would be that we would deny education to a girl child. Are we making the life of a girl better by denying her education because of a hijab? That means,
Rahul, when Tahseen is done, I want to
if they go without a hijab.
After that.
1 second, Ahmed Sahab.
I would like to play some facts.
Ahmed bhai, 1 minute, please. I'm only quoting the justice that you are supporting. I'm not quoting anybody else. Please. This is what he said. And he says this, so he's raising an apprehension that if we stop by diktat young girls from wearing the hijab to their classroom, they will lose out on an education. If it's so open, why would they? No one there to force them.
I'll explain this to you. Yes, so I'll explain this to you. It's slightly egregious. Just hear me out. A, I want to congratulate you for making sure that this MIM was exposed, because the mistake, please Tanveer bhai, because the mistake that the MIM, or on purpose that MIM is doing, is trying to make this about Article 25. Ishkaran is here, and Ishkaran referred to it essential practices of religion. This is not about essential practices of religion. So MIM benefits by making this about Islam, and that's where Justice Dhulia has erred. Where Justice Dhulia is right, and where you're quoting him is right. Now, please allow me to explain to your viewers. These girls are only asking who wear not a burqa, not cover their face, to wear the uniform, to attend school in the uniform, but to wear a piece of cloth on their hair which matches the color of their uniform. This piece of cloth could be called a scarf, a hijab, or a dupatta, as you may. Now let me take the argument further, and I quote you, Rahul. In your opening statement, you said, what if lawyers appeared in ripped jeans or air hostesses did not wear a uniform? And I agree with you. That is wrong, as would if they were Muslim or any other girls came not in uniform. But a lawyer practicing in court, if she chooses to wear the lawyer attire, which is the black dress, but below it a sari,
Please, now don't be so facetious, for God's sake. This is about what you wear on top, not under a sari. Please. Please. Now, what kind of foolish argument is
Allow
this?
me to make my argument.
Mr. Poonawalla, come on. We all know. Now, don't be so sophist.
No, this is so unfair.
ठीक है,
I
बोलिए.
waited 30 minutes.
बोलिए.
You have to allow me.
ठीक है, please.
Any lawyer may wear what they want in the Supreme Court on their hair, whether it's a turban, on their forehead, whether it's a tikka, whether it's a dupatta, whether it's a hijab, as long as they're wearing the uniform. These girls are wearing the uniform. The cloth that they're talking about matches the uniform. It's not.
I hope you won't have a problem. I hope by that same logic you won't have a problem if someone wears tilak, sindoor, a ghungat and a saffron scarf.
A girl who's
and a saffron scarf.
Goes to college and
so you won't have a problem even with saffron scarf. No problem. Okay. So then tell me. Then tell me. One minute. So then tell me. Do you call Karti Chidambaram a fascist for painting those that wanted to wear a saffron scarf as Nazis? Would you say that he's an intolerant bigot? He's a murderer of democracy?
I disagree. If Karti said that and he's a friend of mine, I disagree. Someone wanting to wear a saffron scarf must be
Then you're being consistent. Now one minute.
Let me tell you.
One minute. Let me ask Mariam Alvi. She's been waiting patiently and I must commend her patience. Miss Alvi, I have to ask you a very simple question.
I would like to have 30 seconds once you are done with Mariam.
Yes. Don't take her point up, sir. Now don't take her time. Poor thing. Please. She's waited, please. Everyone has waited patient. Look at Tehseen Poonawalla. He waited 25 minutes. Please. I first of all need to apologize to you, Miss Alvi. Now,
that's okay. That's okay, although I would have appreciated if the other gentlemen who share my faith would have given or yielded the space to a woman, since it's a woman's issue, but
we are all guilty of mansplaining tonight. I will apologize. We are all guilty of mansplaining.
It is fair expectation on my part to at least
yes, ma'am.
Demand that decency from people who share my faith ostensibly, but that's okay.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead with your view. I want to hear your view.
See, there is one judgment that promotes education and one judgment that promotes government authoritarianism. That's the way I see it. Justice Dhulia's order is clear that you please get the girls into school, hijab or no hijab. So the demand here is not the denial of a uniform. The demand here is accommodation into the uniform. It would have been hypocrisy if they would have said that, no, we don't care what the uniform says. We'll wear whatever we want. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying, please accommodate us into the uniform. And Justice Dhulia's order also goes into the object of the Karnataka Education Act, which is betterment of education. And so in the spirit of harmonious construction, he's given the judgment that he's given. As far as ERP is concerned, the talaq issue was gone into by ERP and that was fair. But as far as hijab goes, the Quran is not clear on the issue of hijab. There is a lot of vocabulary into it. It is just best to let the women or the girls decide what they want to wear. And asking for accommodation within an existing uniform code is not a hypocrisy, and it's not too much to ask from a government schooling.
Okay, it's very interesting because we've changed the goalposts. So we are now being told that all the girls ever wanted was a little bit of accommodation, which Justice Dhulia talks about. But Justice Dhulia goes even further. And in his court, viewers, and that's where it becomes slightly problematic. And let me just read it to you. This court is where things start going slightly off kilter. Discipline can't be at the cost of freedom, not at the cost of dignity. So, viewers, here, if it's not going to be at the cost of freedom, as Dr. Ranganathan pointed out, tomorrow, a young follower of the Jain faith in one particular sect might say that I want to come without clothes.
Isn't that denial of uniform?
That's denial of uniform, Rahul.
Precisely. That's what the judge wants us to do. Discipline can't be at the cost of freedom. So you can't impose discipline, follow the uniform, if it comes at the cost of freedom.
But they are wearing the uniform. They just want to cover their head with a dupatta.
Can someone explain to Tehseen Poonawalla that he is not understanding the phrase? Ishkaran Bhandari, why didn't you take some time out to explain to Tehseen Bhai, and maybe even after this debate you can call him, you know him quite well, have a conversation, explain to him how much in the deep end he finds himself today. Nonetheless, Ishkaran Bhandari, please.
Yes, absolutely. I would like Tehseen to invite me for one of his fancy lunches. But the reality is, let us be very clear. First, when he gives the court argument that you can wear anything underneath the coat, no, you cannot wear shorts, bermudas, hot pants, etc. So every place has a separate uniform. Let me finish. So when you start here, you can wear anything under the coat, no. You cannot wear anything under the coat. They are very prescribed. No, but they are very prescribed things you can wear under a coat when you go to a court. So let us be very clear that. Second, once we have done away with this,
you cannot misquote me.
Let me finish.
I respect you, but you cannot misquote me. No, you are misquoting me.
No, you literally said that under the coat you can wear anything.
1 second.
You were giving the example of sari, salwar, kameez. Those are allowed things. But you cannot wear things which are not allowed.
Exactly.
So you were not
on the head,
uniform.
You could or could not wear a scarf, a dupatta or a hijab. But what is allowed has to be worn underneath the coat.
You can, after this debate, can I make a point? After this debate is over, you can replay the video where you said under the coat you can wear a sari, salwar kameez, you can wear anything. You cannot. There are prescribed things you can wear. But anyway, let us come to the uniform which is here. Once you have done away with...
Tehseen Poonawalla, let somebody else speak. No one interrupted you, my dear.
Yes,
please.
We are talking about the hair. You
oh gosh.
Go on.
Viewers, let me just step in here for 30 seconds. Please talk about the sanctity of a uniform, please. Let's talk about the sanctity of a uniform. Muslims in IF can't keep beard on religious grounds. The Supreme Court has said this in the past because the IF has a particular uniform, a particular dress code, a particular appearance code. Now tomorrow, after the judgment, people will say, listen, your discipline can't be at the cost of my freedom. I have the freedom to do whatever I want to. Let me today grow my hair and show up there. I want to dress like, some rock star. I want to wear rhinestones like Elvis Presley. I want to have a quiff. You can do anything tomorrow. I'm sorry, but this is where we are going with this, viewers.
Absolutely.
I know it's laughable. That's where we've come to.
You're comparing apples and oranges.
I'm not comparing apples with oranges, sir. I'm comparing oranges with oranges. And I'm squeezing them. The logic out of it.
Wanting to wear a scarf on
Dr. Ranganathan, yes.
Over a uniform.
This is bizarre.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm afraid my good friend Tehseen is simply muddying the waters. He is being facetious here. The arguments are very clear. Uniform means that the school or the college will dictate what a pupil can wear or not wear. Now, I have already said that I am against the hijab ban, that I want no duplicity. So that's an argument that let us set aside. But here, Tehseen, please understand, the judge, and I'm quoting him verbatim, he said, discipline is a necessity, but not at the cost of freedom. And that is what Rahul Shivshankar was discussing. So please don't bring your apples and oranges here. And can I also please say, when you are either an atheist or an apostate, I don't know, but you're a wonderful person, irrespective. The fact is, when you say that your mother or your wife enters the mosque, you are quoting the exception, not the rule. You have fought for Sabrimala rights. Have you ever fought for Catholic women not being ordained as priests? You haven't. So let's be honest here. There is hypocrisy, Tehseen. Let's admit it and let's move on.
Hypocrisy. I stood by this. I was.
Okay. Tehseen Poonawalla, let's not make this about you. You're a great man. You're a great man, and may they be more like you. And I'm even sure that after this debate, Miss Alvi will send you a message and say we want more men like Tehseen Poonawalla. I'm sure she will do it. And in fact, Dr. Ranganathan, do take him out for another lunch and explain to him that these are two oranges and how to squeeze those oranges and their logic. Okay.
More Quran Mr. Ranganathan also.
Yeah, okay. You can all go out for lunch. Don't send me the bill though. But I just want to make it very clear. Viewers, the justice says, state's order goes against fraternity, human dignity, liberty, equality. Now, viewers, 1 second. I want you to know something. My parents, my school always told me come in a uniform. Because what does a uniform guarantee? Whether you're rich or poor, you dress alike. It gives you dignity. It gives you equality. It gives you a sense of fraternity. That's what a uniform does. It is uniform. One form.
How is a small piece of
I will leave it at this. Viewers, I will leave it at this because there are other pressing matters. There is another very big... Just think about it, viewers. If you start punching holes in the uniform, you will have people showing up in your schools dressed in designer clothes. There will be others who can't afford them. What will be the psychological impact? Just think about this. I just want to very quickly move on, viewers.